So as someone that has traveled to different countries and has applied for different visas, I think that the US visa is one of the easiest visas to get. Why do I say so? The visa process and everything is just straightforward. All that you need to do is to make sure that you have the right document, apply online and go for an actual interview. The decision regarding your visa is made the same day. So I feel like that's like one of the best way to get visa. No pressure. You're not thinking about it a lot, thinking whether or not your visa will be granted. You already know the decision on that day. Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Jumoke Jeje and I am a travel content creator. Nigeria is among the countries with the highest travel restrictions. It's actually a big deal getting a US visa as a Nigerian passport holder. So I got a 5 years US visa as a Nigerian passport holder, and I just want to share with you a few things that you can do to get yours, what I did that worked for me, and what you can also do. So if you're somebody that has been rejected before, or you are just even applying for the first time, then please stay and watch this video to the end. By the way guys, I am not an immigration lawyer. I am not a travel agent. I am a travel content creator. So every information I provide is based on my personal experience, what I did that worked for me, what I think that you can do that can work for you as well. So some of the things I'm going to share in this video is going to help you if you are applying for the US visa, or if you already have a date, or you have an appointment already, or you're even just planning to apply, then this video is for you. So make sure to watch to the end, like, subscribe. Now I have to mention that I applied to go to the US on vacation as a group with Tranquil Pass. If you already know me, then you should know Tranquil Pass by now, but if you don't, Tranquil Pass is a travel agency that organizes trip for people, plan and organize trip, vacation, group trip, solo trip, any kind of trip that you want. Tranquil Pass will plan it for you. Now the tips that I want to share with you would 100% work for you. The thing about the US visa is that it is different for everybody, right? So you don't really have to prepare so much. You don't have to read so much. You don't need to even study so much online to even go for the appointments. All that you need is your confidence. Believe in yourself, and make sure that you're doing the right thing. I always tell people to come correct. So personally, I applied from the UK where I am based, and what the US looks at is your ties. If you have a strong ties, I think this covers all of the different criteria or things that they are looking for. Once you can show that you have strong ties with your country of residence, then of course you'll be able to get the visa. It's very straightforward, it's very easy. So like I said earlier, whatever opinion I'm giving on this video is based on my personal experience. So it's something that worked for me, and it's something that I think can work for you as well. So make sure that you have a strong tie with your country of residence. So how do you prove that you have strong ties with your country of residence? So the first is full-time employment. So make sure that you're in full-time employment. So let's say for instance you're visiting the US and you are in full-time employment in your country of residence. Of course, the visa issuing officer would already know that since you are in full-time employment, you're not going to run away. Those are the things that they look at if you have like tendency to run away. Make sure that you are in full-time employment. So if you are a student, maybe you are studying in the UK or you are studying in your country of residence, that is also a strong tie, because they know that you're not going to abandon your studies, right? Then another thing is to make sure that you have financial capacity, like you're financially capable to take care of yourself in the US. So make sure that you have enough money in your account. At least if you have like 1,000 balance in your account, that should be enough to prove. Make sure that you have hotel reservation. You've already reserved your hotel. You don't need to have your flight tickets, because you really don't know if your visa is going to be approved or rejected. So you don't necessarily need to, have a flight ticket. But make sure that you know where you're visiting. So for instance, if you're visiting New York, make sure that you have like an itinerary of the places that you want to visit in New York. And also, if you're staying somewhere in New York, make sure that you know the name of the place where you'll be staying, like the name of the hotel you'll be staying in New York. And if you are visiting family in the US, make sure that you have all their information. Now, another thing that you can use to prove a strong tie in your country of residence can be your family. They're going to ask you, do you have any family in the UK or in your country of residence? I'm using UK a lot because I'm based in the UK, right? Make sure you have like a family member in your country of residence. So it's either your wife, your children, your husband, something that will definitely make you come back. Another strong tie that you can prove is if you have a business in your country of residence. Now, those are like the strong ties. There are others, but these are like the one. So going on, I just want to let you know also the kind of questions I was asked during my interview, and maybe you can use this as a guide as well. So the first question I was asked is, where am I visiting in the US? I said I was visiting New York. Like I said earlier in the video, I'm going on a group trip that is planned by a travel agency, Tranquil Pass. So I was indeed going to New York on a group trip. So make sure you know where you are going. Before I forget, the interview process is very intense. It is very, very intense. There are a lot of questions. Just it's like 5 minutes and they're asking you they're bombarding you with a lot of questions. So you need to be very confident in yourself, and you need to be very smart. You need to answer the questions as they're asking you the questions, and you need to keep talking. Although in my own time, I was interrupted a lot of times because the visa officer just kept saying, go straight to the point, answer the question, yes or no. So for some other, they would like you to keep explaining, right? So when I was asked, where are you visiting? I'm visiting New York. The next question I was asked is, how long are you staying in the US? I said 6 days. Where would you be staying in the US? I told them my hotel. So she asked me, how long have I been in the UK? What do I do in the UK? Where do I work? What is the name of the company I work with? What is my job role? What is my job responsibilities? Have I ever traveled outside the UK? How many countries have I visited? She asked me to name the countries that I've visited. She asked me if I have my employment letter. She asked me for my pay slip, which I produced. Okay, so those are like the questions that I was asked. And then in answering the questions, how long have I been in the UK? 2 years. What have you been doing in the UK? I came in as a student, and then I am currently on my post-study work visa. I'm currently working with a company. I mentioned my company. What do you do in your company? I mentioned my job role. I mentioned my job responsibility. I mentioned that my company is like one of the top companies, just by this. So I mentioned that, and then she asked me how many countries I've visited, and then I mentioned all of the countries that I've visited. And then she asked me for my employment letter, and then she asked me for a bank statement. I told her I don't have a bank statement, but I had my pay slip with me, and she asked me to produce it, and I gave it to her. And then she said, is this your take home? Like, she checked how much I earn, my take home every month, and I said yes. And then she said, congratulations, your visa has been granted. Now guys, there is something very profound in my interview. In my visa application, I said I'm going for tourism, and then she asked me if I've ever traveled before, and I should mention the countries that I've traveled to. Now, if you are applying for a tourist visa, make sure that you are a tourist. This is something that I always tell people. So you can't say that you want to apply for a US tourist visa and you are not a tourist. You've not visited any country before. Now, mind you, this is not 100% a criteria that your visa will be granted or rejected, but it just makes sense that if you're applying for a tourist visa, you should have traveled to at least more than 5 countries, or you should have like a very good travel history. Very importantly, something that you should take home from this video is that to get a US visa, you should make sure that you at least have a Schengen visa. Maybe you have traveled to some Schengen countries. At least make sure that you have a Schengen visa and you have like a very good travel history. Now, for those of you in the UK, there are so many countries that you can go without needing a visa. You can go to Albania, you can go to Montenegro, you can go to Gibraltar. You know, there are so many countries you can visit. So make sure that you have at least travel history. It is very important. If you are applying for a US visa to go for a conference, make sure that you've gone for different conferences as well. If you are saying that you're going for an academic based conference, make sure that you're an academia. Okay, so guys, in summary, okay, so these are like the document that I went with when I was going for my interview. I went with my valid passport, at least 6 month validity, my biometric residence permit, the printed copy of the appointment slip, and my application slip. And I also went with my pay slip, my employment letter. Again, guys, make sure that you go with a lot of confidence. You need confidence. They can be very intimidating. They are doing their job. They have to make sure that every visa that they are granting, that they can account for it and make sure that they are taking the right decision. So it's completely their job. So make sure that you go with a lot of confidence. If you have specific questions regarding the US visa interview, put it in the comment section and I'll be right there to answer your questions for you. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.